943 stores. Open right now. Stocked, staffed, taking your credit card. And just days ago, the company behind them said in an official filing there was serious doubt it could keep operating over the next year. One of those stores might be 5 minutes from your house. Most folks think you can spot a dying chain by the going out of business signs. You can't. The signs come last. And by number 1, you'll see how last. Number 6. The Children's Place. The Children's Place. If you bought school clothes for kids or grandkids anytime in the last 30 years, you know the store. Back in 2020, there were over 900 of them. Today, about 497. But here's the thing. That big wave of closures is over. The stores that are left aren't closing, and that's not the story. The story is who's paying to keep the lights on. This spring, the Children's Place reported 3 months of business. Sales fell 11%. The company lost $53 million. Now hold that number next to this one. The entire company on the stock market is worth about $48 million. One bad quarter cost more than the whole company is worth. Add up everything the company owns, subtract everything it owes, you get a negative number. There's nothing left over. So how is it still open? Because somebody keeps writing checks. The Children's Place was expecting about $38 million back from the government in tariff refunds. Instead of waiting for that money, it sold the right to collect it for about $26 million today. That's what a business does when it needs cash now and can't get it the normal way. Then in July, it borrowed $15 million more just to pay its suppliers. And it borrowed that money from its own majority owner, an investment firm out of Saudi Arabia called Mithaq. Mithaq owns 61% of the company. It put its own man in the CEO chair. And since 2024, it has poured roughly $180 million into keeping this retailer alive, with $25 million more sitting ready. That's the good news, honestly. The owner hasn't blinked. Here's the problem. A chain of nearly 500 stores, full of inventory, full of customers, and on its own numbers, it cannot pay its own way. It lives because one shareholder keeps feeding it. The day that stops is the day this becomes a very different video. And it's not the only famous name living rescue to rescue. Number 5. Belk. Belk has been dressing the South for 138 years, nearly 300 stores across 16 states. If you're from the Carolinas or Georgia, Belk isn't a store, it's where your mother took you. And Belk may be the greatest survivor in American retail, which is not entirely a compliment. In 2021, Belk went bankrupt and unbankrupt in a single day. In and out of court in about 24 hours, with roughly $450 million of debt wiped away. 3 years later, it needed saving again. In the summer of 2024, another rescue erased more than $950 million in debt, and this time, the price was the company itself. The owners lost control. Belk now belongs to its lenders. That's 2 rescues. Here's the third act. In May of this year, word got out that Belk was shopping Wall Street for roughly $500 million in new borrowed money. The company's stated reason was to boost its cash cushion. That was 3 months ago. Since then, silence. No deal announced, no deal canceled, just quiet. Belk isn't at death's door tonight. It's private, we can't see the books, and it's even opening smaller Belk Market stores, including one in Charlotte just this month. A company circling the drain doesn't usually cut ribbons. But that almost makes what happened next stranger. 3 rescues in 5 years, and in year 6, it's back at the window asking for more. At some point, the question stops being, will Belk get saved again? And becomes, how many times can one department store need saving before the answer is no? Nobody knows Belk's real condition because Belk doesn't have to tell us. The next company on this list had no such privacy. Its numbers are sitting in a courthouse. Number 4. Ortho Mattress. Quick question. Have you ever heard of Ortho Mattress? If you're not from Southern California, probably not. But if you are, you've driven past those showrooms your whole life. Ortho has been making and selling mattresses since 1957. 69 years. Family scale. Local. The kind of business this channel usually covers after it's gone. This one's still here. Barely. At its peak, Ortho had somewhere around 60 to 80 showrooms. Today, barely 24 remain. 2/3 of the company disappeared before a single court got involved. Then, on June 1st, Ortho filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy on the streamlined track built for small businesses. The court papers tell you why. Ortho listed somewhere between $1 and $10 million in assets, against $10 to $50 million in debts. Read that the plain way. For every dollar this company has, it may owe as much as 10. And the case isn't sitting quietly. One of Ortho's landlords is in court right now, trying to pull a store location out from under the company while it's still trying to reorganize. When your landlords stop waiting for the process and start grabbing, that tells you how much patience is left in the room. Ortho says it intends to come through this, reorganize, keep selling mattresses, even grow. Maybe it will. It's small enough that a workable plan could genuinely save it. There's no dramatic ending to write here yet. Just a 69-year-old company, down to its last 24 rooms, asking a judge for time. The next company asked the whole market for help. The market's answer was worse than no. Number 3. West Marine. West Marine sells boating supplies. About 200 stores when this year started, in coastal towns all over the country. If you own a boat, you know the blue sign. And this summer, West Marine came about as close to disappearing as a company can come without actually vanishing. In May, it filed for bankruptcy. The court papers showed $549 million in obligations against $21.5 million in cash. The rent alone was $55 million a year, and the company's own lawyers called that figure insurmountable. Their word. So, West Marine did what a drowning company does. It put itself up for sale, set a deadline for offers, and when that deadline came, nothing. Not one qualified bid showed up. The auction wasn't lost, it was empty. When nobody buys the company, the lenders take it. That's what's happening. West Marine's lenders are swapping their loans for ownership, wiping out more than $300 million in debt in the process. And 91 stores are closing, 45% of the fleet, nearly half. By the time you watch this, the whole handoff may already be finished. Here's the honest counterpoint, because it's real. The West Marine that comes out the other side is healthier than the one that went in, around 109 stores, far less debt, and a wholesale business selling to marinas and boatyards that's actually growing. This is the third restructuring in 3 years, and it might finally be the one that works. But hear what actually happened. The owners were wiped out. The suppliers are getting back a fraction of a penny on the dollar. Half the stores are going dark. West Marine may survive. The company that entered 2026 is not the company coming out the other side. And at number 2, a company where nothing is settled and the deadline is weeks away. Number 2, America's Car-Mart. America's Car-Mart sells used cars across 12 states in the middle of the country, mostly to working folks who can't get a loan at a bank. Car-Mart sells you the car and carries the loan itself, which means Car-Mart doesn't just have customers, it has borrowers. And when its borrowers can't pay, the pain lands on both sides of the same desk. This past year, that math broke. For roughly every dollar of cars Car-Mart sold, about 40 cents worth of its loans went bad. The company lost $139 million in 1 year, and it closed 60 of its 154 dealerships. 60. 39% of the entire company gone in 12 months. Those closures weren't the problem. They were the tourniquet. Then, in July, came the sentence that changes everything. In its official annual report, Car-Mart's own management and its own outside auditor raised what accountants call substantial doubt about the company's ability to continue as a going concern. Strip the accountant language off, and it says this: there is serious doubt this business survives another year unless something changes. Companies do not say that about themselves unless they have to. The same filing goes further and names the possibility of bankruptcy protection outright. Here's why the calendar matters. Car-Mart already broke the rules on its big loan back in June. Its lender agreed to look the other way, but only until September 7th. That waiver can stretch to November if Car-Mart hits its marks. Meanwhile, a hired advisor is out hunting for rescue money, reportedly around $500 million, and the company's own filing admits that money may not come at any price. The fair side. Cash on hand actually rose to $47 million. No bankruptcy has been filed, and rescue talks are live. This could resolve fine, but of the 6 companies on this list, this is the only one where a specific date is circled on a legal document. The clock here isn't a figure of speech. It's actually running. Which brings us back to where we started. Number 1. Leslie's Pool Supplies. 943 stores. That's Leslie's, the pool supply chain. The place you've bought chlorine and test strips every June for 20 years. Leslie's already closed 80 stores and a warehouse back in January. But those closures aren't why it's number 1. Number 1 is what happened on August 12th. That day, in the middle of pool season, the stretch of summer that pays for Leslie's entire year, the company reported that sales fell more than 8%. Then it put a going concern warning in its own filing. Substantial doubt about the next 12 months. Then it withdrew its own forecast for the year, which is a company telling you it no longer trusts its own crystal ball. The stock closed that week around 65 cents. Underneath, the shape is one you now recognize. Leslie's owes about $787 million. It's holding about $46 million in cash. Add up what it owns, subtract what it owes, and you get negative $492 million. And in July, Bloomberg reported the company is privately weighing Chapter 11, with restructuring advisors hired on both sides of the table. One more number, and to me, it's the loudest one in this whole video. Leslie's main loan has been trading at around 39 cents, meaning the market is valuing $1 of Leslie's debt at 39 cents. That's investors saying they expect somebody to take a serious loss. 40 cents on the dollar says more than any press release ever will. Now the honest part, because this is where careless channels would lie to you. Leslie's stores are almost certainly not all closing. Its big loan isn't due until March of 2028, and over 95% of its lenders have already signed a cooperation agreement, which usually means an orderly deal is coming, not a collapse. The likeliest ending is the lenders trade their debt for ownership, and the stores stay open under new bosses. But that is exactly the point of this whole list. A store can be open, stocked, air-conditioned, and taking your credit card, while in a conference room somewhere, the company behind it is negotiating what survival is going to look like. The parking lot never sees that meeting.
So here's the one thing worth carrying out of this video. We've all been trained to think the first sign of trouble is the going out of business banner. It's actually the last sign. By the time it goes up, the real fight has usually been running for years in loan agreements, creditor meetings, and emergency financing nobody shopping the aisles ever sees. And keep this in mind. If you're holding a gift card or store credit at a chain that's already in serious financial trouble, I'd use it sooner rather than later. Once a company enters bankruptcy, gift cards can become a lot harder to redeem, and you're certainly not first in line to get that money back. Now I want your read on this one. Of these 6 chains, which one do you think is still standing 5 years from now? Drop your pick in the comments, and make sure you hit the subscribe button right under this video. I plan on doing check-in videos to see how these stores are holding up. This is Econo Nova. Keep an eye on the price of milk.